Yesterday we learned that Surah Al-Baqarah is the longest surah of the Quran Kareem. And we also learned the name of the shortest surah of the Quran Kareem. Does anybody remember? Surah Al-Kawthar, the shortest surah of the Quran Kareem. We also learned how many verses there are in the Quran Kareem. Does anybody remember? 6. By Amrus, he deserves a prize. Buy him something. 6,236. So, today we're going to learn that which was the first verse of the Quran Kareem to be revealed. Everybody knows this bit, I'm sure. The first verses of the Quran Kareem to revealed was, it's called Surah Al-Alaq or Surah Iqra. Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Okay? A few more verses. These were the first verses to be revealed. Which was the last verse of the Quran Kareem to be revealed? The last verse of the Quran Kareem to be revealed. No. It's a good guess. That's right to an extent, but it's not the correct answer. It's right to an extent though. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, his first and last Hajj, his farewell Hajj, he only performed one Hajj. Our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how many Hajj did he perform? Only one Hajj. And how many Umrahs did he perform? 4. 4 times he performed Umrah and once he performed Hajj. So on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he, after conveying the message to the people who were attending their Hajj on the field of Arafah, then the verses were revealed. Al-yawma akmaltu lakum deenakum wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati wa raditu lakum al-islam deena. Basically, it translates that today I have completed your deen, I have perfected everything, and I have chosen the religion Islam for you to practice. After this verse, there were other verses revealed, but after this verse, because the deen of Allah, the injunctions that were to be part of Islam were now revealed, in that sense, this was the last verse, meaning that after this verse, there were no new mas'ala that was revealed in Deen Islam. But there were verses which were revealed. But the Sahaba Ikram, from them, there are different opinions regarding which was the last verse to be revealed. Some scholars say that the last verse to be revealed was a verse regarding the mas'ala of kalala. Kalala is a scenario where a person has passed away and he leaves behind no ascendants and no descendants. Meaning he doesn't leave behind, he's not survived by mom, dad, granddad, no ascendants, no usul. And he leaves behind no descendants, meaning no children. He has no son, no grandson, no great-grandson, no one. He leaves no one behind. So now, who will inherit him? So now it goes sideways. So this mas'ala was explained. يَسْتَفْتُونَكَ قُلِ اللَّهُ يُفْتِيكُمْ فِي الْكَلَالَةِ. They ask you a fatwa. They ask you regarding kalala, that who will inherit? But other scholars have said, no, it can't be this verse because this is a mas'ala. And after al-yawma akmaltu lakum deenakum, no mas'ala was revealed. Other scholars say that the last verse which was revealed is وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمًا تُرْجَعُونَ فِيهِ إِلَى اللَّهِ. وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمًا تُرْجَعُونَ فِيهِ إِلَى اللَّهِ. That وَاتَّقُوا, fear the day when you shall all be returned back to Allah. وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمًا تُرْجَعُونَ, you shall all be returned. Fihi, on that day, meaning the day of judgment, when we'll be presented in front of Allah. وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمًا تُرْجَعُونَ فِيهِ إِلَى اللَّهِ ثُمَّ تُوَفَّى كُلُّ نَفْسٍ, then every single soul will be given its due, punishment or reward, whatever is waiting. Imam Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani rahimahullah ta'ala is a commentator of Sahih al-Bukhari. He says that from the opinions, the most authentic and correct opinion is that this verse, وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمًا تُرْجَعُونَ فِيهِ إِلَى اللَّهِ, is the last verse of the Quran Kareem to be revealed. Next question. The surahs in the Quran, when we open the Quran, which is the first surah that we find? It's called Surah Al-Fatiha, the opener. After Surah Al-Fatiha, which is the next surah? Surah Al-Baqarah. Okay. Was Surah Al-Fatiha the first surah to be revealed? It wasn't the first surah to be revealed. Was Surah Al-Baqarah the second surah to be revealed? It wasn't. So why then, when we open the Quran Kareem, we don't have Surah Al-Alaq first? Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. And why isn't the last verse of surah of the Quran Kareem, the last verse of the Quran Kareem, وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمًا فِيهِ تُرْجَعُونَ فِيهِ إِلَى اللَّهِ? Have you understood the question? Meaning the Quran Kareem is not in order of revelation. It's not in order of revelation. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, some scholars say, that he fixed the sequence of the surahs of the Quran Kareem. And other scholars are of the opinion that the Sahaba Ikram, they had the knowledge, and through their ijtihad, they fixed the sequence of the surahs of the Quran Kareem. Whether it was the Prophet or whether it was the Sahaba, it was all transmitted through the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the Sahaba. It is the consensus of the ulama that every single verse as it is, that is its sequence as it was revealed upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Meaning that Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, this sequence is in accordance to revelation. Meaning the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he fixed that. But the surahs, regarding that, there is difference of opinion. The angel Jibreel alayhi salam, when he used to come with revelation, then he would say to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that these are verses which are to go or to Surah Yusuf from this number verse. These are verses to go to Surah Al-Baqarah from this number verse. So Jibreel alayhi salam, after revealing, meaning reciting the verses to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to tell the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which surah do these verses belong to? Which surah do these verses belong to? But the Quran Kareem, if you were to read from beginning till end, then do you see any pattern in regards to numbers? The pattern you will see is that the longest surahs of the Quran Kareem are at the beginning, and the shortest surahs of the Quran Kareem are at the end. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam or the Sahaba Ikram, they said that the surahs which are the longest, they are to be mentioned, meaning they are to be placed as part of the Quran Kareem right at the beginning. And that's why the first 7 surahs, we refer to them as As-Sab'u Tiwal. Sab' means 7, Tiwal means long. The 7 longest surahs of the Quran are mentioned first. The 7 longest surahs of the Quran, number 1 is Surah Al-Baqarah, number 2 is Surah Ali Imran. Today in Taraweeh they completed Surah Ali Imran recitation. We're on 4th juz now. Then number 3 is Surah An-Nisa, number 4 is Surah Al-Ma'idah, then number 5 Surah Al-An'am, number 6 is Surah Al-A'raf, and number 7 is Surah Al-Anfal. With that is Surah At-Tawbah, because many scholars say Surah At-Tawbah is not a different surah, it's part of Al-Anfal. That's why there's no Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim before Surah At-Tawbah. So these are the 7 surahs which are the longest surahs of the Quran Kareem. They have been placed first. And we refer to them as As-Sab'u Tiwal, the 7 longest surahs of the Quran. Then was brought all those surahs which have more or less 100 verses, and they are referred to as Al-Mi'un. Mi'atun means 100. Al-Mi'un meaning those surahs now, after the 7 longest surahs, which have approximately, maybe 1 or 2 less, maybe 1 or 2 more, 100 verses in them. Each of these surahs have 100 verses. After them are a group of surahs which are known as Al-Mathani. Al-Mathani means repetition. So now these surahs are repeating what has already been mentioned in As-Sab'u Tiwal and Al-Mi'un. Al-Mathani. After Al-Mathani, the last category is Al-Mufassal. Fasl means separation. Because from Surah Al-Qaf they say Mufassal starts, some say from Surah Al-Hujurat Mufassal starts. The Mufassal category of surahs, they have frequently fasl, separation between them with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Look at the last 4-5 juz. Last 4-5 juz, you will see that short surahs, 1 side, 2 side, maximum 3 sides, and then Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. As you draw close to the end, then it's not even a full side. Sometimes 2-3 surahs on one side of the Quran, and Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim is frequently found. That's why they are called Al-Mufassal. Let me narrate this hadith and then we'll conclude. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "U'titu makana Tawrati as-sab'ah." That in place of the Torah, because Quran Kareem, the deen of Allah was being refined until the perfect deen is deen Islam. There's no other deen to come, no other book to come. Quran Kareem is the completed, refined book of Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, code of law. So before that there was the Torah, before that there was the Injil, before that there was the Zabur. Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala refined them all, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "U'titu makana Tawrati as-sab'a." That in place of the Torah, I have been given the first 7 long surahs of the Quran Kareem. Al-Baqarah, you will find a lot of mention about the Banu Israel. Ali Imran, a lot of mention about Ali Imran, meaning the family of Maryam alayhi salam and Isa alayhi salam. And it carries on like that. Al-Ma'idah, Al-Anfal, a lot of mention about the Banu Israel. And وَأُعْطِيتُ مَكَانَ الزَّبُورِ الْمِئِينَ. And I have been given in place of the Zabur those surahs which have approximately 100 verses. وَأُعْطِيتُ مَكَانَ الْإِنْجِيلِ الْمَثَانِ. And in place of the Injil, what was given to Isa alayhi salam, I have been given those surahs which are referred to as Al-Mathani. And وَفُضِّلْتُ بِالْمُفَصَّلِ. I have been given virtue over all the other prophets. And this book has been given virtue over all the other books with the Mufassal surahs. With the Mufassal surahs, which is from Surah Qaf or from Surah Al-Hujurat all the way till the end. This is a brief overview of how the surahs of the Quran Kareem was set. 1 or 2 mas'ala and then we will finish. Somebody asked that if I don't fast, then do I still need to pray Taraweeh Salat? If I don't fast, whatever reason, he is not fasting, he has an illness, etc., he is not fasting. So is it still sunnat? Fasting is fard, but to pray Taraweeh Salat is sunnat. Is it still sunnat for me to pray Taraweeh Salat? The mas'ala is that it is still sunnat for a person to pray Taraweeh Salat even though he did not fast that day. Fasting and Taraweeh Salat, it doesn't have a connection in the sense that one is dependent upon the other. So if a person doesn't fast for whatever reason, he was sick, etc., Taraweeh Salat still remains sunnat for him. Second question is, somebody asked that they are traveling and they traveled to Asia. So they traveled before Ramadan started. We started on Saturday, they started today, Sunday. So they're one day behind us. But he's going to return back to the UK. He lives here before the end of Ramadan. If by chance, and the likelihood is that this is a 29 days month of Ramadan fast, then how many days would he have fasted? 28. But the Islamic month is either 30 or 29. So what happens to that one day of fast that he missed? The day of Eid, will he celebrate Eid with us, or will he be fasting that day? Have you understood the scenario? This will happen quite a lot this year. So the answer to that question is that a person who finds himself in a scenario that he only kept 28 fasts, if he returns back, he will celebrate the day of Eid with us. He will celebrate the day of Eid with us, and then afterwards, he will keep qadha of one day. He will keep qadha of one day. Vice versa, what if somebody he ends up fasting 31 days? That can happen as well in scenarios. So if he is here and this is going to be our 30th day, but his 31st day, then what will he do? Will he celebrate Eid on his own? No. Because Allah says, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْ. Whoever witnesses the month of Ramadan, so when he is here it's the month of Ramadan. فَلْيَصُمْ, he should keep a fast. So he will keep a fast that day also, and then celebrate Eid with us the day after. May Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala keep us steadfast upon His deen. We'll make a mukhtasar dua. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد كلما ذكره الذاكرون، وصل على محمد كلما غفل عن ذكره الغافلون، وصل على محمد في الملأ الأعلى وإلى يوم الدين. اللهم ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. اللهم أذهب الباس رب الناس، اشفي أنت الشافي لا شفاء إلا شفاؤك شفاء لا يغادر سقما. اللهم ربنا تقبل منا صيامنا وقيامنا وسائر عبادتنا كما تقبلت من عبادك الصالحين. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم، وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم، برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.